So, speaking of WWE, it looks like some of the previously purchased content that WWE has is making its way off of Peacock. A source indicated to Fightful that WWE will be removing the featured independent wrestling promotions from Peacock. This includes libraries of companies such as WXW, Evolve, and more. Insane Championship Wrestling also put out a tweet recently saying that their contract with WWE has ended. So I wanted to know. How significant do you think this move is in the grand scheme of things? How significant is it
I'll
that
be honest.
that indie wrestling is making its way off of WWE?
It's weird because, like, honestly, when they would even mention Evolve or these side things that they would do on, well, back then it was the WWE network. I don't think a lot of people tune into it unless you are a hardcore Indies fan, and I'm not sure if it's because again Vince just didn't promote it enough for people to like care about it. Um, I'm a little bit confused. Where is the content going exactly?
So I think it's just being taken down. Like I think that when it came to like these indie promotions that they were doing business with, a lot of them
Hmm.
were. It wasn't like they bought the companies. I think they bought Evolve, but
Yeah,
they like other companies. It was just like they had like some form of distribution deal with WWE so that their content could
yeah,
go on the WWE network, which later translated into Peacock. But like Progress was one of those companies. ICW was another one of those companies. So, I think it was more so just like leasing content than buying content. And I think it's probably going to go back to like the respective owners. So like a Progress is probably going to go back to Progress on Demand or something like that. So
mm, okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, again, they don't the show or the content of WWE doesn't really change whether they have them here or is being removed. So I don't find it significant. Just
mm,
because me personally, I'd never heard a single soul talk about it unless again you were that much into WWE and indie wrestling simultaneously, which is conflicting too. 'Cause like I said, this show prides itself on more so sports entertainment than anything. So it felt weird watching these
yeah,
promotions sometimes because they never added to anything. It was just to see like a good match happen that no one would talk about.
right.
So, I mean, I guess that's good. There's more space for them to do other things. What do you think?
I think I don't think that it's super important that it's being removed. Just because, like you said, I think that the whole point was to eventually pull talent from those places and then be able to have access to that content in order to, you know, show the importance of this character or show the importance of a certain storyline or something like that. But when we look at the current WWE roster, there isn't a there are a good amount of people, but there aren't a lot of mainstream stars that have deep catalogs in these other companies. And if they do, it's not as significant as what they're doing in WWE. Um, like or applicable, I should say. That I feel like the
Yeah.
content in the indies doesn't apply to certain stars that went through those indies and then went to WWE because 9 times out of 10 they're a completely different person in WWE than they were on the indies. You know what I mean? Now, I
Hmm.
feel like now
Yeah.
business is still open to the point where like now if they wanted to like lease content from like a Progress, they can do that, or ICW, they can do that. But I don't think it's worth buying the entire
Yeah.
library for. And I think that also, I think the major point of buying or leasing these libraries was to build up the value of the WWE network for some form of sale to Peacock, which happened, right? Like they got $1 billion deal for the network for 5 years, I think it was. So it's like it already happened, right? Like the whole point of what they were doing was accomplished. So now that it's accomplished, the focus is still primarily on WWE content, not necessarily the indie content. So I think that they
Yo, can
got
they
their
add
money.
the fun stuff that the other network had? I miss when they
Like,
had like table for threes and stuff like that.
yeah, I think that they should
I
bring those
miss
back.
that.
I think that they should bring those back. But I think that the question is like, where's WWE Network? as far as like their content development is concerned? Is it on pause because they want to sell the company and then they want to let whoever they sell it to deal with the development, or what may have you? Because like before Peacock, the network was an entity on its own. It kind of functioned the way that an MTV or a
Right.
BET would function as it pertains to like they were creating their own programs. We don't know like what their agreement with Peacock is, but I would love to see, because I think that I actually think that there are new table for threes, but I just haven't heard them like that. You know what I mean? Like at least when there were
Mhm.
table for threes, like when they first came out, like you saw about it a lot on WWE programming, and I don't hear about it as much. But then again, I could be missing on something. So you know, you know how that
I feel like
goes.
someone would definitely bring it up, but go on.